that the journey with Wenger started 97, 98, and I think that early group were sort of pioneers for the brand of football that everybody was to be noted across the world. And that doesn't happen overnight, but it certainly did in that first season in 97, 98. That's a combination then of work over many years. The likes of Vieira and Henry were really at the top of their game.
Yeah.
You think about Perez and Lundberg and all these great players.
Phenomenal players. Spurs Arsenal on Sunday. You'll be there.
And do you know, this generation, we want the same for them, Jim. We want the same. It's been a long time now, 20 years. It's been remarkable how quickly that time has gone.
Yeah.
And it's about time where we saw Arsenal win a Premier League. But we have to tip, don't we, our cap to Man City and Pep. He's a serial winner. The guy is so motivated. But we maybe have the next best thing in Arteta now. Everyone talking about managers. When Klopp's gone, it might be a case of Arteta versus Pep. And it's a good job that we have that in the Premier League because everybody seems to be second best to Pep right now.
I want to put this out there, Simon. You know just how these two will go at each other this weekend, and they really will. But of course, Arsenal could win the league. They could, at the end of it all, at the upshot, when the final ball of the final game is kicked in the back of the net, Arsenal could yet win this league. Yeah. So what will motivate Tottenham more? The race for top four or the drive on Sunday to stop their rivals from taking the title?
Well, I don't know, in terms of if you're talking about which faction are you talking about? Are you talking about the crowd, their motivation? Because that will be evidence.
Everything Tottenham.
If you're talking about Ange Postecoglou, I think he will utilise the energy that's in the club and the rivalry against Arsenal to motivate his players. But I don't think he'll see beyond that. I don't think Tottenham's motivation will be we can stymie Arsenal's, from a player point of view, can stymie Arsenal's ascent to the Premier League title. I think they'll take the game in isolation and play the moment. And it will be a great game because you've got two sides that play attacking football. And so I made the comment earlier on about watching Arsenal's title challenge wither on the vine. I don't believe that. I believe Arsenal will most likely beat Spurs on the weekend because I think they're a very good side. But the last time I opened my trap and said that Aston Villa did a number on them, so perhaps it's a kiss of death. Yeah. But what I'm looking forward to is a brilliantly competitive game between Arsenal and Tottenham. And those are the kind of games that are neutral, which I am in this instance, wants to go and watch.
The jeopardy is equal, isn't it? So when I look back at many times we would go to Spurs, and this is where I target Spurs a little bit here, that so much of their motivation was to stop us from winning something, and that is not really the right motivation, is it?
It's for them. It is for them.
Hang on, Martin. You accuse people of being arrogant. Isn't that a bit sweeping statement that they would be so caught up with suppressing your achievements rather than managing their own? On what level? On management level? On player level?
Player level. We couldn't get involved in that. I mean, when we went there 20 years ago, we were told we weren't allowed to celebrate. Now, when we saw them,
what kind of players that we would have been playing against for Tottenham would have had that motivation?
Well, it was. That's how it was. You saw the fans, you saw the players. There's a desperation to stop Arsenal. It was always there as an obstacle. At the end of the season, you had to beat Spurs.
Wasn't that just a North London rivalry?
No. It was just like, okay, it's annoying, isn't it? I imagine it's annoying for Man United fans seeing Man City winning now. So it's just a natural thing. It's a human reaction.
You think Tottenham are so prepossessed that their priorities to stop Arsenal winning something?
In our day, they were.
And do you think that'll be the same this Sunday?
Well, as I said, I've just said at the start that there's an equal jeopardy. They have got something huge for themselves, but they could be 9 points. If Chelsea lose to Villa, they could be 9 points behind Aston Villa before they go into this game.
But are Tottenham not quite right on Sunday, Martin, to create an occasion and the atmosphere amongst the fans to stop Arsenal leaving with the points?
Because they need to finish in the top four. That's their goal. Now they've got something proper. Okay, for many years you go there and they were just trying to stop us winning something. It may have changed now in recent seasons when finished above. They finished above Arsenal, but not last year, and maybe not this year. Do you know? So,
but there's nothing wrong in it either, is there? Where I come from, Rangers don't want Celtic to win, and Celtic don't want Rangers to win. It
depends. What's your ideal? I wanted to win for me and for my club. I didn't want to win to stop someone else winning.
Well, that's the question we're asking you, because what you're doing is you're superimposing what you believe Tottenham players were doing, which I find curious. You might be right, but you're not telling me who they were, so I can't question it.
Redknapp scores a goal from a free kick and runs around like he's won the Premier League. You kidding me? Back there 20 years ago.
Who did?
Jeremy Redknapp.
Yeah.
Well, what's wrong with that?
Well, it's a bit of an overreaction when we're told we're not even allowed to celebrate for fear of any crowd trouble.
But you were at their patch.
Yeah, but what, you're going to tell us we can't celebrate because we've won a game of football that we've worked all year for? You kidding me?
So, in view of what you're saying, then answer the question, Martin. What will motivate Tottenham more on Sunday?
What will motivate them?
The race for the top four, or to stop you lot winning the title?
Well, it's probably to stop us lot, isn't it? But what it should be is for them to get in the Champions League themselves, have set out their own agenda. It's about time they did, instead of seeing us. They seem to be happy with finishing above
that's
Arsenal.
an arrogance. Arrogance you just accuse Man City fans of having.
That's a fact.
But I think Tottenham will approach this game. Of course, there's the edge to the North London derby. Of course, they don't wish Arsenal to win the league. But their main motivation and their manager's motivation will be to beat whichever opposition is in front of them. And the added spice will be Arsenal. What you're saying is their predominant emotion is to stop Arsenal from achieving something.
I'm saying is, when was the last time they won anything tangible, Spurs? You tell me.
No,
you can say 208.
Well,
right?
League Cup 2008.
You've ridiculed the League Cup, haven't you?
No.
You've said it's the worthless cup. You've said that. I've heard you say that.
I said the commercially of the four tournaments, it was called the worthless cup because
so
it generated no revenue.
Let's go back to 1991. So we're talking 40 years, aren't we?
Yes, they haven't won anything. We know that.
So,
That's the thing they get bashed out
we've
with.
got pretty well 3-4 generations of Spurs fans who've never really won anything. All they're interested in was finishing above Arsenal. What sort of goal is that?
But what's wrong with that?
Well, I think it just shows you the difference between the
if
two
they
clubs.
support Tottenham, they also don't want
How about them
win.
wanting to win the Premier League?
But
or grab
Martin,
something for
you're
themselves?
pivoting the conversation away from that. We know
No,
what
I'm
the
not. I'm saying that their motivation is the wrong motivation.
The fans' motivation. I'm not talking about the fans. We know what the fans' motivation will in part be because that's called tribalism. I'm talking about the professional footballers on the pitch that you're painting a picture that their only motivation is to stop Arsenal from achieving something.
Well, it seemed to be like that for
and
many,
I find
many
that
years.
strange.
No, it's a fact. If you live in North London, you'd have seen that was the case. That was the order of events. It changed somewhat in recent years when they finished above Arsenal in the Premier League.
Old Trafford, when you were at Old Trafford on that famous day, what was your overriding emotion at the end?
When we won the league
that you left Old Trafford with something, or that Van Nistelrooy missed the pen?
Well, if I take you back to 2002, that's a shifting of the power for Arsenal. That's when we climbed the summit. When they were trying to kick us off the pitch back then, we realised, no, we're better than Manchester United. That was a shift in the power. And Manchester United was our biggest rival, okay? Not Spurs. Yeah. Spurs have come back into the argument now.
But you all do it though, Martin. We saw you that day at Old Trafford jumping all over Van Nistelrooy. If Tottenham beat Arsenal on Sunday, what's wrong with a bit of fist pumping at the end?
I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about what is the crux of their motivation as a club and as a fan. What do you want most?
Well, and what you're saying is,
would I want to be relying on Spurs to beat Man City at the end of the season? No, not at all.
Tottenham finish 19th would be a success.
No, I'm saying I'm not relying. Look, I'm just saying as a football club, set out your own objectives, forget about Arsenal, and start trying to bring the Premier League of your own.
But you're painting a picture that they don't.
It's interesting to hear. You've got to say that. You'll be sitting in the rich seats.
No,
with
I'm not.
The owner
I'm not sitting with. I'm not going with Daniel. I'm going with someone else. So I'm nothing to do with Daniel. It's nothing to do with that.
Didn't get you the tickets, no?
No, I didn't. I got them from Rob Seagal actually. So completely different.
Top agent.
Indeed.
Yeah.
One of the few agents in the world I actually like.
The Arsenal fans are safe and well in their seats, by the way, at the weekend.
Martin, you're getting caned. There's one of many messages. Oh, Martin Keown, behave. Your Arsenal arrogance this morning is on another level. Stop being and there's the shape of a fruit.
On AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.